Hi, how you going? So I know I'd made a previous video about having solved this problem without spending any money. I'd used an old phone as a monitor solution for my camera, and I'd rigged the whole thing together with bits and pieces that I already had, so it was free. But this solution, while almost great, had some slight issues. The spare phone that I'd set up as the monitor, well, the first one was not quite fast enough, so it had stuttering going on, and it just didn't look great. And then I found another one, but that was faster and didn't have the stuttering, but it did have random disconnection issues, which whenever it randomly disconnected, stopped the recording, which caused even greater problems. My actual current phone is being used for the teleprompter here, so that's not an option either. The whole thing is to avoid spending around the $200 it cost me to get a camera monitor and batteries and all that kind of stuff, which seems excessive for my level of production. I pretty much only need a monitor to see that I have the autofocus box around my face while I'm filming these bits to camera, as my aging eyes can't actually tell from that distance whether I'm in focus. I can't really tell from close to the camera either unless I'm wearing my glasses. Isn't getting old great? Because of all of this, I've filmed several things only to work out when I get them into the editing software that the whole thing was out of focus and I need to entirely reshoot them. So I looked for another option, somewhere between the price range of free and $200, hopefully closer to the free end of that scale. After some looking, I found a cheap 7-inch LCD monitor on special on AliExpress for around $37, so I thought I'd give that a go. The supplies for this project are as follows. Firstly, the 7-inch LCD, that was $37 from AliExpress. Next, a $4 HDMI cable and a $3 adapter for that. I could have done this without those cables, but this makes the whole thing a bit tidier and just looks a bit nicer. I found this power bank in a box of stuff. I received this free at a Young Property Professionals event, the first and only time I went to one of these events. It was a lunchtime session filled with lots of young, brash and confident, but also somehow extremely nervous looking guys in suits who, for some strange reason, actually liked the idea of networking. There was a speech from a self-congratulatory real estate agent during which I resolved never to ever go to one of these events ever again. But I did get this free branded power bank out of it. It's 2,200 milliamp hours, which is not really useful for a phone anymore. But during testing, it ran this little monitor for around 3 hours, which is more than enough. This does need an adapter as the built-in cable is micro USB. Or if this little one doesn't work, then I'll just use this 5,000 milliamp hour power bank that I don't really use much anymore anyway. I also have this metal strut thing that I found in a drawer that might be useful. There's also an unused mount from the drawer of camera accessories, which is the same one that I used for the phone in the previous project, and it probably cost about $2 when I bought it. I also have this little USB switch. This was a spare one that I had. I'd bought 2 of them for a different project, so that was free. And this packet of bolts, which cost me, I think, $1.97. So all in all, I haven't spent a lot of money on this project, and hopefully it works. So now I need to find a way of securing the power bank to the back of the screen so that the whole thing is able to be handheld and doesn't have cables and power banks hanging off it. I'm not sure about this little power bank, so I'm going to use the bigger one. Its shape and plug options will work out better, I think. Bending the support into shape, that should work. And connecting via a bolt to the screen itself. Now for the cabling. There's probably too much for the size of the space available. The switch will be held on with gaff tape. And this is the first iteration of it. It only kind of looks like something that Ted Kaczynski would cook up, and there's too many cables. So I think I'll just simplify it I think I'll just use this piece of foam to make a nice space for the power bank to sit. Bolt it all on, and yeah, I definitely like that better. So this all seems to be working really well. You can handheld the camera, the whole thing works, the screen is nice resolution. I just really like it. There are a few issues though. Firstly, there's no touch on this monitor, and the HDMI out on the camera overrides the camera screen, so touch focus or camera controls that need touch are not accessible when the screen's engaged. But given my use case, this shouldn't be too much of an issue. Next, I have to turn the screen on first before I turn on the camera, otherwise the aspect ratio gets a bit funny. Again, this is not really a big issue. And lastly, the biggest issue with this project makes me look like a hypocrite because I said I didn't need it and released a whole video about not spending money and not needing to do this. And then I went and spent the money and did it anyway. But that's okay. Other than those things, I'm really happy with the result. It works well. It shows me whether I'm in focus or not, and it makes my whole setup just look and feel a bit more professional. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you've got any questions or anything else in the comments, and otherwise I'll see you next week. Bye.